If you're a pretty girl, finesse. Use your looks to your best, greatest advantage. If you're not doing that, I don't know what the fuck. And I really wish I could have done it to this extent years ago. Like, I've always been a finesser, but it wasn't until the past 8 months, 8, 9 months where I really, like, started using that shit to my advantage. And I have zero regrets. Ask a guy what they would like, oh, I would be so up, I would be having hella money, I'd have motion, I'd have this and that. And you can. You just need to use. You don't even gotta be on no hoochie shit or nothing. Just be a pretty girl. Put yourself out there. Make some content. Promote something. I don't know. Use that smile. Use that pretty face to your advantage. Finesse, motherfucker. The best advice I'm gonna tell you. And it's true. There is pretty privilege, and unfortunately, some people, you gotta do shit in other ways. But if you got it, and you should use it. Don't let that shit go to waste.
Men are dumb. And here's how to use feminine manipulation on them. Like, it's manipulation, but it's soft. So soft, they don't even notice. And it works every time. The goal is to have him believe that everything was his idea. Like, yeah, sure, you're the one in charge. Let's get into it. Number 1, ask for his advice even though you already know the answer. Men tend to fall for women when they feel really useful. You know, it's the whole hero effect, the savior effect. You're making him feel like you really need him. It would be so much harder for you if you didn't have him. And then what you gotta do is praise him, of course. Because that's what kind of makes him addicted. He's gonna wanna keep giving you advice because he's gonna wanna keep getting the praise. Number 2, similar thing, agree with him. And then you add your opinion in a way that sounds like it was always his. Like, you're right, and that's why I think blah, blah, blah. Men tend to love to be in control, or at least feel like they are. So by agreeing and then giving your personal opinion, he will think that he made you have that opinion. But really, you're the one that's in control. Number 3, eye contact and silence. And be bold with your eye contact. Just look at him and let him be the one to speak first. That way, again, he feels like he is leading the conversation. You're just his little passenger princess. You're making him feel like he's the one in power when really it's you. Anyway, let me know if you want a part 2. And if you want some super private personal advice from me, you can book a one-on-one dating advice call with me. You know where to do that. I also have a flirting 101 ebook that you can get. There's loads of psychology tricks in there. Okay, love you. Bye.
Beware the tarantula woman. She doesn't want a man. She wants a host. Let me explain. Women who keep a man around aren't always keeping them for love. Some of them, the tarantula woman, keep men as hosts, not partners, hosts. They need constant validation to fill an emotional void that they refuse to face. So they attach themselves to men who will worship them, adore them, and feed their ego on demand. These men think that they're chosen, but in reality, they're being fed on. There are many ways to use a person, sex, money, status, but using someone as a validation machine is the most sinister because the victim believes that it's mutual. He believes that it's real when it's not. He thinks she likes him back, but she's not showing any affection. She's extracting it from him. He gives everything, she gives nothing, and it's transactional and he can't see it. He accepts the breadcrumbs, the flattery, the lies because tarantula women spin webs out of attention, pity, and confusion. Women like this breadcrumb because they're too cowardly to speak the truth, too afraid to say, I don't want you, too terrified to stand alone without a man orbiting them. Lying is the glue that holds their identity together. Deception is the only thing keeping their persona from collapsing. When you live in manipulation mode long enough, everything you do gives insecure, empty, and weak. Tarantula women need a man, not because they love him, but because he confirms that they are still desirable. He reminds them that they're still that girl. But the moment he stops feeding her insecurity, she panics and moves on to the next host. People who use others always end up in shallow, manipulative relationships. They'd rather play games than be vulnerable. They'd rather drain somebody than face themselves. And some men, because of their own wounds, allow themselves to be eaten alive. 2 manipulators together does not create passion, ever. It's cold. It's a quiet war. They don't love each other. They use it against each other. And everything is a calculation of what they can take. With manipulators, lying is how they breathe. Ask them a direct question and they can't answer it. They will twist it. Reveal the truth and they'll crumble because the truth destroys the image that they have been performing for years. Women like that, they cannot love. They can only audition. They can only manipulate. They can only drain. And watching that is sad.
There used to be an entire toolkit: the strategic silence, the comparison to another man mentioned casually, the tears deployed at exactly the right moment in an argument. These tools worked for decades because the men receiving them hadn't yet been exposed to the pattern often enough to recognize the mechanism underneath.
But here's where feminine, artful communication comes into play. So the fun thing about being a feminine woman is that we get to have this fun play of words, and we get to use these sort of manipulation tactics, but not a bad or negative manipulation, but a positive manipulation. So what does that look like? Well, as I always say on here, you don't want to go to men with solutions. You want to present them with problems instead, because they are Mr. Fix-It by nature. So let's say that you have a problem with your car. You need a new battery, you need an oil change, something in your car is not working properly, and you feel very safe with this man who has already vowed that if you need something, you are more than welcome to go to him to ask for help. So you could say something like, babe, my car has been giving me trouble. I really need a new battery, or I need my oil changed. What should I do? Ask him for advice for it, because they love giving advice, and let him come up with the solution to fix that. He may offer to pay for it or to do the manual labor of it, but either way, you haven't demanded or expected anything. You simply just requested for advice. Maybe for another example, maybe there is something that you've been desiring to purchase, and it's not necessarily a problem, and it's not necessarily a need, but maybe just something that you want, a more luxury. So it could be a new dress or a new pair of shoes. So you could artfully communicate by sending him or showing him the new dress and the new shoes that you've been having your eyes on. So you can say something like, oh, aren't these shoes so beautiful? I love them. You should buy them for me. You could even throw in there, I want to wear them for you. So do you see how my energy is very light and playful with it? Because it's not necessarily a need, it's just a luxury. But by throwing in that, oh, I'll wear them for you, makes him feel more special in what he can give and provide.
Signs a girl is manipulating you and it is time to hit escape. Number one is you only communicate on her terms. Basically, you cannot predict if or when she's going to respond. She's very sporadic. Number two, she only pulls in when you pull away. This shows that she's just afraid to lose your attention, not that she cares and is actually serious about you. This is exactly why I started using the dating app Cuff, because it's one match at a time, so people on there are actually serious about the relationships. Not like Tinder or Hinge when you're talking to multiple people. Number three, she threatens consequences if she doesn't get her way. Like if you can't see her one day, she's like, oh, okay, I'll just go talk to someone else. She makes you feel bad even though you're not in a relationship. Like for part two.
One of the most expensive mistakes you can make is not recognizing manipulation until you're already attached. And this is especially true in romantic relationships, because by the time you finally see the pattern, you're not just evaluating behavior anymore. Now there's history. Now there's attachment. Now there's shared friends, finances, children, marriage, reputation. That's why early discernment matters so much. So here are 3 signs you're being pulled into something dangerous. Number 1, the relationship moves faster than your clarity. The intensity feels flattering. They want your time, your attention, your loyalty, your vulnerability. But speed can create attachment before judgment has had time to do its job. If the connection is moving faster than your ability to observe their character under pressure, slow down. Number 2, you start explaining away patterns you would warn someone else about. The disrespect was stress. The jealousy was love. The pressure was passion. The anger was pain. No, that's where people get trapped. They keep converting red flags into evidence of potential. And number 3, leaving starts to feel more complicated than staying. That's when the cost becomes real. Because now it's not just, is this person healthy? Now it's, what will it cost me to get out? That is the devastation. So don't wait until your nervous system, finances, family, future, and identity are all tied to the wrong person before you start asking hard questions.
He watched the tactic unfold in real time, recognized every beat of it from 3 podcasts and a dozen first-hand accounts, and simply said, "I see what you're doing," out loud. The tool doesn't work once it's been named. Finesse depends entirely on the target not knowing the move exists.
All right, ladies, I'm going to put you on to some game, okay? People will be like, how do you get men to do stuff for you all the time? Like, when I date someone, I get them to buy me a lot of things. I get them to do a lot of stuff for me. And there are, I would say, 3 key components to this, okay, that I thought everybody knew, but apparently they don't. So I'm going to tell you. 1, I'm a big believer, closed mouths don't get fed. So straight up ask. There are things you can ask for. You have to know how to ask in the right way, but ask. A lot of men will do for you. You guys just don't ask. 2, I pretend no matter what it is, no matter how shitty my exes have been, I pretend that the man before them treated me like absolute gold and I just decided I didn't like him anymore. You know, I don't know, it just didn't work out. But he bought me designer, he took me into this, he did that. Because you're setting the bar, you're letting them know. The bar is up here, okay? And then they're just going to treat you that way. The last man I was seeing, he even said that. He was like, yeah, I mean, you just come correct. Like, I knew I had to come correct because of, it's just expected. You just expect it. Yes, I do. They don't need to know how homeboy treated you before. They don't need to know what you've been through. As far as they're concerned, you get treated like a princess and they need to follow suit. And 3rd, this is the one, okay? If you listen to one thing from this video, this is it. Set them up. And I don't mean play them. Set them up. If you want something done, like example, I wanted my oil changed, so I suggested that we take my car, even though we never take my car. And he drove, of course, and my oil light's on. And he goes, oh, your oil light's on. You need your oil changed. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I know. Tim said he would do it for me. Tim's my boss. Sorry if you're watching this, Tim. Tim never said that. That was just, I said that off the top of my head. Because my man goes, Tim, why would Tim take it? I can take it. Like, I'll literally take it tomorrow. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't want to bother you. Well, it's not. I will take it tomorrow. When I say my oil was changed, my tires were rotated, I had new windshield wipers, all by 10 a.m. the next day. Men do not want to think that other men are doing something for you, okay? It's kind of the same reason why if your ex was doing things for you, and my ex, don't do that, but I have bags that I bought myself that they'll be like, who bought you that? And I'm like, nobody, like, chill. It's the illusion, okay? Create an illusion. You're welcome.
Early signs of a manipulative woman. Early signs of a manipulative woman. Women who are naturally extremely manipulative in nature will use NLP to get what they want out of people and men. Now, the signs I'm about to show you are amber flags, okay? They may not mean that the woman is narcissistic in nature, so use this information in your own discretion. However, neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP for short, is a psychological approach that studies how behaviors and language can be used to influence or manipulate the emotions and thoughts of other people. And it's used for personal gain. Here are some quick examples that, gentlemen, you should look out for in the early stages of dating. Number 1, the classic victim card. And it may sound like this: I just want to be happy. However, it seems like no one really truly cares about me. Number 2, inducing guilt. And it may sound like this: oh, I genuinely thought that we had something really special together, but it breaks my heart to realize that you may not feel the same about me. Number 3, she'll use vague language and ambiguity. And it may sound like this: hey John, I really had such a great time. I don't know when I'm gonna see you again, but I can really see us having some great adventures together in the future. Cliffhanger, huh? Watch out for these amber flags.
I hear all the time women being like, he was a master manipulator. And I'm sorry, but I don't think most men are that smart. 9 times out of 10, you are in fact manipulating yourself. Like, he hasn't texted me back in 6 hours. I know he's trying to test me, when all that's going on in his brain is like, should I have ground beef and sweet potato for dinner again? I've had it 6 nights in a row, but like, it could be 7. Common one I'll hear is, he hid who he was at the start. when like you just hadn't gotten to know him yet. He wasn't necessarily trying to hide certain qualities, you just had not discovered these qualities that you don't like yet. Or those qualities were completely transparent and you just ignored them because you liked him. I have videos about how my ex was just filthy and it's one of the reasons that we broke up, and I get comments all the time of like, he was using weaponized incompetence against you. And I'm like, no, he was never gonna clean these things. Big piles of food and shit that I was cleaning up would have stayed there to rot forever. So it's not weaponized incompetence. He was actually just that lazy and didn't care if he did it or if I did it or if anyone did it. The narrative that you've created about someone is not always accurate. My ex wasn't utilizing weaponized incompetence. He was incompetent. The person you were dating was probably not a master manipulator. They just didn't care very much. And they had qualities you didn't like.
The frustration on her face wasn't about him specifically. It was about the tool breaking in her hand for the first time in years of reliable use. When a manipulation tactic stops producing the reaction it's designed for, the person deploying it doesn't just lose that round. They lose the entire strategy going forward.
This is one tactic that narcissistic women use against men. Major trigger warning. Men, listen closely. The manipulation is called control through chaos. Here's how it works. She provokes you, criticizes your tone, mocks your masculinity, twists your words, until you finally react. And she flips it. Now you're the problem. Now you're angry. You're the abuser. That's control through chaos. When she creates emotional disorder just to feel power in the aftermath. You're too busy defending yourself to realize that she's been pulling the strings the whole time.
This is why the necessity of men having emotional intelligence is so important. I cannot even count how many times I have been caught in the control of chaos or whatever she was saying, just to have it turned around on me because I was not emotionally intelligent enough to see the manipulation and fall into the trap. Meanwhile, she then gets to play the victim. She's the one hurt. She's the one abused. She's the one doesn't feel safe. Meanwhile, she was the one that actually triggered the response from you. But an emotionally intelligent man would be like, okay, I see what she's doing here. I see the traps that she's trying to play. I see what's going on. I'm not falling for it. Doesn't raise his voice, keeps the same tone, stays level-headed. All of a sudden, she has no cards to play. And then now she jumps out of character. Again, emotional intelligence is so important for a man, really and truly.
So this girl went on 6 dates a week so she didn't have to pay for groceries for 2 years. And I have to say I respect her because that shit sounded like a part-time job. She was saving $150 a week. She went on to say she made the video jokingly, but I do believe she was at least going on 2 dates or 3 dates a week, saving $150. And I respect her because all you would have to do to avoid that whole situation is keep what she got in her hand, bro. You could easily avoid getting finesse if you just take her ass to Starbucks. You maybe get her a croissant, maybe, right? But just spend $10 on a Frappuccino. You spend $10 on yourself. Like I said, maybe on a croissant, and you good. Now you really know it's about getting to know each other and not about a free dinner date.
Every tactic that used to be a closely guarded secret is now documented, categorized, and explained in a 5-minute video with 3 million views. The information asymmetry that made these tools effective for so long has essentially collapsed, and once both sides can see the same playbook, half the plays stop working entirely.
Every woman tries to manipulate a man and use him to her advantage. Shout out to the men who recognize this and still do it. They recognize it and they still do it because they have masculine energy. Shout out to real masculine energy. Masculine energy is what makes the world go round. Money, men make more money. Okay? Money makes the world go round, but who makes most money? Men.
She cycled through 3 separate approaches in one conversation, each one a strategy that used to close the deal reliably. Silence didn't work. The comparison didn't land. The tears didn't summon the usual rescue response. Watching an entire toolkit fail in real time is a specific kind of disorientation nobody prepares you for.
Women make it really hard for men when it comes to communication, and I think we don't even realize that we're doing it. And I think that the number one thing that we do that men clearly don't understand is that we don't always talk verbally. We don't express ourselves verbally with clear-cut communication. And I think that we have our reasons for why we don't do that. But also I feel like men don't realize that we talk mostly through passive aggressiveness and body language. Like, that's just what we do. And I think that that's why men are always like, women are so confusing. Like, just say what you mean. And like, we probably should, but 9 times out of 10, we don't. And I feel like men don't know what to do with like our signals, because like to them, they're not really signals, you know? So I feel like when a woman like stands really close to a guy, or like touches his arm, or like laughs at his jokes, and like does all these things, he's like, okay, she's just being friendly. Like, does she like me? Because like, it's not very clear to them, because like women can just like laugh and like, ha ha ha, and like not be interested in you. And like, same thing in like the reverse, a woman could also be like really standoffish and shy around you, and you could be like, she doesn't like me at all, and she really does. So I feel like it's like hard for men to read us, but like there are signs. So I think I'm gonna do something with that. I think I'm gonna like try to conjure up all the signs that we give men, and like just have a series of like what this probably means, you know? But yeah, we make it difficult to communicate.
Let's talk about how a covert narcissistic woman traps her men. Men, you need to tune into this if you don't want to get manipulated again. Number 1 here, you will meet this girl. You think you met her. She actually scouted you. She noticed the giver, the protector, the guy that's saving the day, the guy that protects everyone that he loves, the guy that is very empathic, the strong guy with strong masculine energy. She wants you. Why? So that she can chip away from you. So she scouts you, and then you meet her, and you think that you've just met the most kind, the most giving, the most amazing girl ever. You have this amazing sexual tension between you two. This chemistry is just out of this world. She makes you tap into the sexual energy that you never thought existed in you, okay? And then she makes you feel like you guys really connected. This is the key point here, okay? It's not the sexuality. It's not the fact that you just thought you met the one. It's the fact that here she's gonna share with you something so vulnerable about herself from the start that you will feel like, wow, this girl opened up to me. I can't believe that she would open up about something that vulnerable. And she's gonna make you feel, or she'll actually tell you that she's never opened up about this with anyone, because you're the only one that makes her feel so comfortable to open up about these things, right? So maybe she's going to share something about, I don't know, maybe she got molested, maybe her dad used to beat her, maybe she got abandoned, and it doesn't have to be a lie, but whatever she has opened up to you about is just too soon and too vulnerable. Why are you doing this? But you're going to interpret this as you are now her protector and you can save her. Let me give you this love. Let me show you that I can give you the love that you deserve, and you don't have to ever feel that way again. So you once again tap into that masculine energy. You feel like she's putting you on a pedestal, because now you are able to give somebody that you always wanted to give, that love to a woman. You're her savior. Now what happens? Now, depending on how you react to this is going to be crucial, because when she shares that vulnerable thing with you, if you are that empathic man that just wants to save her, now you've made the cut. Good job. Because if you didn't do that, you wouldn't have made the cut. Okay? She would move on to a new supply. If you made the cut, however, now what she's going to do, it's not enough just to do that. Now she's going to pull away. She's either going to make you feel like you've done something for her to pull away, or she's just going to say something like, hey, I've been so hurt before, I just don't know if I can do this again, I don't know if I can trust again, blah 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 blah. And then what are you going to do? You're going to reassure her, yes, you can trust me, I promise you I will never make you feel that way, right? Now you've promised her, now she has you trapped, now she has you anchored. Now what happens when you guys are in a relationship? Now she can actually chip away from you. But how is she chipping away from you? Because remember those intimate times you guys have shared, maybe sitting on the kitchen floor, laying in bed, staying up all night, when you were sharing all of your vulnerabilities with her and your past traumas, that she was doing the same to you, when in reality she was building a freaking profile on you, okay? And now she's gonna take all of that and use it against me. But you know how you've cheated in your past relationship, but now I think you might be doing that to me. No, I'm never gonna do that to you. You know that I don't have my eyes for anyone else. It's gonna chip away, right? Well, you're not trying hard enough. I always have to ask you for things, blah 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 blah. She will always make you feel like you're at fault, and the fact that you made that promise to her that you're never gonna hurt her, that you're gonna be that man, is gonna be really hard on you, because she will truly convince you that you've basically lied to her. You're not enough for her. So you're going to tap into that competitive energy, and you're going to try harder. You're going to try to make more money. You're going to try to do everything that she wants you to do. You're not going to have room for any friends or family, because all of your time will have to be devoted to her, and she's still never going to be happy. You wake up with a smile, she has to get rid of that smile. And yes, it does come back to her insecurities, but you're not at fault. Stop making yourself the problem. Stop believing her freaking narrative that you're at fault. You should not be staying in that relationship. Unless there's kids, unless you have to make a very direct plan on how to leave, don't stay another day in that relationship, because let's be honest, it's never been better, right? It's only gone worse. She'll give you tiny bits of breadcrumbs to keep feeding you that hope. But guess what? It's never going to be different. Don't stay another day in that relationship if you can get out. I will be posting a more detailed video on this topic on my YouTube channel. Find the link in my bio. And of course, don't hesitate to schedule one-on-one with me if you really need reassurance to understand that, no, you're not the problem. Okay? It's all been manipulation from the start.
Just say what you mean. That's the entire counter strategy. And it's remarkably effective against an opponent who spent years building immunity to everything except honesty. The men who figured out the tactics also figured out the one approach nobody bothered weaponizing, because it was never designed to be a weapon in the first place. Alpha Reloaded, subscribe. What tactic have you seen fail in real time? Tell us below.